January can be a rough month for many reasons. You're probably a bit tired after spending too much time with your friends and family. You're a bit broke from spending too much money on these friends and family. And you're probably just about to get back to work. And if you're a business owner, well, sales are probably a bit slow as well. So I want to address my 3 main ways that I handle these slower periods of the year as a business owner myself. Slow periods can be quite rough and honestly a bit stressful. Because as a business owner, you don't know where your next check is gonna come from. And especially if you provide services like me, I need a constant flow of new clients in order to keep that paycheck coming. And so if there's no leads, well, then it's natural to feel a bit stressed about, well, I need a salary. But despite this being quite rough, it's just the reality of running a business. Your business can't be going just constantly up. It will have some ups and downs. That's just the reality of how seasons change throughout the year. People spend less money in January specifically because they have spent too much money in December. There's lots of real statistics on this. Very interesting if you want to look into it. And my primary way to handle these slower periods for me is to... me. My mind is all over the place. I can't speak. And to manage these slower seasons, my number one way of handling these slower seasons is focusing on client retention. I spoke to an acquaintance, let's say, online recently, and we were talking about how they need a constant flow of new leads and clients, and how that can feel stressful at times. While for me, in my case, I have a lot of long-term clients that I've worked with for over 1, closing in on 2 years at this point, and we keep on working on different projects together. And so my strategy for remaining in business essentially is to really nurture these long-term relationships. Whenever I have a one-off project, I don't only do whatever's in that scope of the project and just say, hey, bye-bye, good luck, nice working with you. I try to convert it into a longer relationship. So through the process of working together, I talk, hey, okay, so what's your strategy around this? Like, what are you thinking going forward with this? Like, what's your long-term business plan? And that's actually one of my primary sales points, is that I am more of a business partner than just a developer. And this business partner approach allows me to have a longer relationship. So when I have completed a one-off project with the clients, let's say I developed a website for them, I then usually try and convert that into a monthly retainer setup. So I continue building on the website, or I continue optimizing different things. I continue giving advice, coaching, sometimes training their team on how to manage the platform. I do a lot of different things, but the core to it is that it's a long-term relationship. And so that's my number one tip to you as well. Don't think that, okay, I'm going to deliver this project, then it's done. No, that's not how it works. You need to always focus, okay, I delivered this, what is the next step? This is step 1, what is step 2? And in my case, this comes very naturally, again, because I have more of a business partner relationship with my clients. And I'm speaking now from a website perspective, because that's what I do. But if you suggest changes and updates and improvements to their business, the client is usually very open to these suggestions, assuming, of course, that they trust you as an expert. My second tip for you to handle these slower periods is diversifying your income. For me, my primary source of income, and at the moment of saying this, my only source of income is... Actually, no, let me rephrase that. For me, my primary source of income is monthly retainer setups with clients. Recurring monthly subscriptions, essentially. They pay a fixed monthly fee for fixed deliverables each month. And then after that, we have one-off projects. So these are a one-off setup. A client contacts me, say, hey, we need this delivered. I say a price, this is the scope, deliver it, done. That's the second. And the third, which currently is generating 0, but that I'm working actively on, is what you're watching right now, actually. So YouTube, social media, and content overall. So I have soon at least 3 different sources of income. And this is important because if I stop receiving new leads, let's say, for new projects, new clients, I'm still in a perfectly fine place because I have these monthly setups. And that allows me to manage these slower periods. Like for now, for example, I don't have that much work, but I still have these monthly retainer setups. That allows me to stay in business, pay my contractors, and continue doing well for myself. And then when a one-off And it's been that way for quite some time now, actually. I think close to 6 months. I've been relying quite heavily on these monthly retainers. And so if I didn't have these, then I would be in big shit, to say the least. I wouldn't be able to pay my contractors. I wouldn't really be able to pay myself a salary, which means that I wouldn't really be able to pay rent, which puts me in a very difficult situation, of course. Now, again, of course, I have savings and everything that I would be able to maintain me for several years, so that's fine. But my point still remains the same, that if I didn't have these different sources of income, I would be in a very tricky situation right now. So that's my tip number 2 to you as well, to make sure that you have more than one source of income. And this can be very similar to each other, but make sure that they're at least different. Now, my third tip, and arguably the most important one, is to plan for the future. If you receive a check of, let's say, 5k, 7k, 10k, don't you go and spend that all at once and think, oh, I'm rich, I have money, let's go. You have to think long term. And sure, okay, you received a massive check today. Amazing, congratulations, I'm proud of you. But that doesn't mean that the same amount of checks are gonna continue rolling in over time. That may be the last check that you receive in 1, 2, 3, 4 months even. Maybe 6 months, who knows? And so you have to plan and make sure that that amount, regardless of how much that amount is, lasts for as long as you can possibly make it. So something that I've implemented in my own business is that regardless of how much I earn in a month, I always pay myself a fixed salary. For reference, I'm currently doing 10 to 15k per month consistently in my business. And despite that, I still only pay myself a 3k salary per month. So I'm being very transparent here with my numbers, but that's only because I want you to keep in mind that just because you make more than you need doesn't mean that you have to spend all of it. Think long term. Super important. And to make a very kind of concrete example without outing anyone, I recently was scrolling Twitter and I was seeing someone who I know was doing well for some time, but now recently seems to have been struggling a bit. And this person, how do I phrase this without outing? They have been talking about wanting to do something very nice for their family. And this will, of course, cost some money, a large chunk of money, but they're unable to pay for it at this very moment. And so they have been talking about, hey, I need so many projects because I can't really pay for this thing that I want to offer my family. And while that's very nice and a good gesture of this person, that's not the wise way to spend your money. If you don't have a reliable source of income, then don't go and spend it on nice things for people you love. Sure, it's nice, but it's also going to put you in a tricky situation, which by extension will put your loved ones in a tricky situation as well if they're relying on you. So that's just an overall lose-lose situation. Now, I'm gonna wrap this up because I can see my camera battery is dying. So conclusion. So overall, just make sure you have different sources of income, maintain those business relationships, and don't go spending money on unnecessary things just because you can. And with that said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below what your best tips for managing your finances are. And with that said, see ya.